Hello, 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 everybody. All right. Whew, it's been a day. I can honestly say I'm sick and tired of the Cleveland Browns. Y'all know they going into week 7, and everybody is at fault for Stefanski having a 4-13 record last year and 1-5 right now. Barry is at fault. Turns out Miles Garrett is not a good leader. Jerry Judy can't catch. And Shedeur not that good. So everybody's at fault. If you look at the pattern of who's at fault, it just sounds like blame the black guy. That's what it's giving. That's what it's giving. Blame the black guy. The black guy is not a leader. The black guy is not a leader of the team. Can't be the quarterback. He can't do math in the front office. And Jerry Judy can't catch. I'm just like, I now fully understand why this organization has been trashed for so long. And again, I really don't even want to know all of this, right? I feel like I know more than I actually volunteered to know, and I don't want to know anymore. But Shadeur is over there, and it's like I gotta keep paying attention till he get the hell from over there. And tonight, it was a rumor going around that the Jets were officially in talks to get Shadeur. I checked into it. It seems like it's just still talk. It's not anything real. I think that's what people want to happen, which tells me that people really do not believe that Shadeur is on the bench because the owners took him off the board. People have not come to that acceptance yet. That's what it is, guys. That's just what it is. And we're at the point where now we see in Cleveland that Haslam is committed to continuing on what happened in the draft with Shedeur being devalued, because that's the term for it. And if he gets traded, say to the Jets, who has 2 quarterbacks and they have a third space opening, he will be traded as QB3. They won't let him play to show what he can do, because then you'll have to trade him at what it is he could do. And if they set him up like they did the Rams game, the same is going to happen. They're going to justify setting him up to fail as his true value, which is why Dylan was ahead of Shedeur. And even though Dylan should have been benched in that game, did they bench Shedeur? No, because they held bent on staying committed to the lie from the draft. He's not that good, because what does it suggest? That they were justified in devaluing him. And it's okay for them to get him at a deep discount. Now, the caption says, Shedeur goes on to win the next 10 games and go 8-2. What does it prove? What does it prove? Put it in the chat, because I'm coming over there to read the comments. What does it prove? Shedeur remains on the Cleveland Browns roster for whatever reason, because all things are possible through God. Shedeur gets out there, has to play the next 10 games. Looking at their schedule, I just predict 8-2. What does it prove? That's the question. All right. And I'm going to get to the answer. And make sure you know I know the answer is tied to this question. All right. So, Shiloh Sanders, who was with his mom in Florida, and they went to Shedeur's game in Pittsburgh. And I have some snippets of it. Shiloh pretended to be Shedeur. He had on the 12 jersey. And I think the first person that started really thought it was Shedeur until Shiloh got a little closer. And when Shiloh lets his beard grow out, he kind of favor Shedeur just a little bit, right? He even got the walk down and everything. So I could see in the video that Shiloh was like really missing, playing ball, and he really wants to get out there. But for content's sake, he pretended to be Shedeur, and they had some good fun moments with his mom, with the fans. It was amazing to me how the Pittsburgh fans gravitated towards Shedeur, even or Shiloh. It didn't matter. The point is, they wanted an autograph from Shedeur. One of the fans was saying, we were all cheering for you. Put Shedeur in or play Shedeur. And it's true. A reporter by the name of Brooke Pryor posted on X that there were chants like to puts Shedeur in or fires Stefanski or whatever. But there were chants in the Steelers, the team, to put in the opposing team quarterback. That's Shedeur. Everybody is rooting for Shedeur, maybe with the exception of Antonio Pierce. But I figure he's doing what they all do when they try to get a job. Put down Shedeur or put down Coach Prime or whatever, right? So for the most part, on X, if you're not a Browns fan, and you might be a Browns fan, you're cheering and you're hoping that Stefanski gets fired. But there is a faction that wants to go from Stefanski to Brian Callahan. What? Didn't he just get fired for being a losing coach? Why you want to recycle losing coaches? So it shows you the mentality of some of the Browns fans, the Browns media, as opposed to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh fans are cheering, saying we want to see Shedeur. They wanted to see a matchup between whatever they got going on in Pittsburgh versus the Browns led by Shedeur Sanders. Let that sink in. The Steelers fans wanted to see Shedeur Sanders ball out against their own team. I'm sure they want the Steelers to win, but they wanted to play against Shedeur. The very thing the NFL tried to stop by suppressing Shedeur and pushing him down in the draft, hoping to bury him on the bench and we forget about him and smother his celebrity, has already happened. His celebrity is so much more so than it was when he got here, that the opposing team stadium can be heard chanting, put in Shedeur or play Shedeur. That's what they didn't want, but it happened anyway. Just like they try to stop Coach Prime's influence in coaching by holding back our players in the draft, right? Kicking out Shiloh, benching Shedeur. What was that to do? It was supposed to do two things: smother the Sanders football legacy while they prop up the Mannings. But it also was to suppress Coach Prime's influence in recruiting. So therefore, if all of his players, except for Travis, were drafted late, maybe players would be deterred from Colorado, but that does not seem to be happening. Especially after winning versus Iowa State in the way they won. That's what the hope was, to hurt the program's recruiting. But they thought by suppressing Shedeur and putting out Shiloh that they could put a clamp on it, but they forgot about somebody: Travis Hunter. Everybody saw Travis Hunter ball out last week, and that's why y'all heard just bold-faced lies that Travis wasn't developed at Colorado by Coach Prime or Jackson State. That's why you heard those bold-faced lies. Because heaven forbid, if Travis get out here and look good, and who knows why Shedeur would get out here and look good, what does that do? The same thing it would have did if they both were on the Heisman stage. Prove that Coach Prime is a good coach, increase his influence, and kids will flock over there. They don't want that. They don't want that. So they're not just trying to hurt Shedeur, the individual. They're trying to suppress the Sanders family influence and Coach Prime's influence in coaching. They don't want all 32 teams to be like the Atlanta Falcons. But here's the thing. A lot of teams might not be like the Falcons, but the NFL itself celebrates the Falcons type culture, which is Black culture. Last night when the Falcons won, y'all heard me talk about it. Did you hear me say Jeezy halftime show? That was huge. But they didn't talk about it. See, they want to partake in it and profit from the culture, but not tell their fan base, oh, we got Jeezy doing the halftime show, as if their fans don't listen to Jeezy. That's also what they're trying to suppress: Black cultural influence in the NFL, even though the NFL is majority Black, which is why the players can't be themselves. So we're happy to see anytime we see Shiloh. It hurts me a little bit because I know you could tell through him talking that he wants to be out there. And, you know, it's great that he supports, you know, his brother. It's also sad that the Browns can actually win with his brother. So much so that other players are calling for it on other teams, you know, other fans. So it's just showing it don't matter what the fans want. Shedeur is not only the best quarterback on the roster in Cleveland, he's the face of the Cleveland Browns. Antonio Pierce was arguing, shame on Shedeur, don't make it about you when they come into the locker room to interview you. I'm like, oh, this is why they fired you, because you dumb. How the hell is he making it about him? He said the reporters shouldn't be allowed to go into the locker room. They should go to the quarterback room. Well, tell them that then. Because it ain't like Shedeur stood outside the door and say, hey, come talk to me. If anything, they shouldn't even be allowed in the locker room. So really, he got a problem with the Browns. But because he want a job, he want to blame Shedeur. That's why they fired you. Because you disloyal. And you lame for that. Do y'all remember when Coach Prime, they were at some award ceremony or something, and Antonio Pierce was the head coach of the Raiders? And Coach Prime said to him, please draft my two sons or whatever. That was to Antonio Pierce he was talking about. And today, Antonio Pierce talks down on Shedeur like Shedeur is causing the media to follow him around, rather than just being quiet. So he jockeying for a job by putting down Coach Prime's son, who obviously thought a lot of him. I'm like, just a reminder that these people are not your friends. So we get ready to look at a clip from Shiloh's video. He posted it on X too, so it's already segmented. So I have it on my page, and we just gonna laugh along with him. I hope things turn around. You know, the miracle happens, that, you know, the NFL just stops trying to collude against Shedeur and leave that alone. And he goes on to have a successful career, and he does have the influence to, you know, hopefully they say, look, y'all know my brother's a good safety, right? Like everybody else, give him a tryout. If he does good, hire him. In other words, stop colluding against the Sanders. If you don't want the Sanders influence, and you don't want to tell fans across the league that Jeezy doing the halftime show in Atlanta, then you don't want Black cultural influence in the NFL where the majority of the players are Black. And that makes you a fool. That makes you a fool and explains why you constantly trying to suppress and force these Black players not to be themselves. Go get another league. And stop trying to tear people down because you hate to see their culture. Don't partake in it, and don't profit from it either. All right, so let me know if y'all can see my screen. All right. So first up, I have several earmarked for this episode. So first we have Shiloh and Shedeur up. And I know some of y'all saw it because I think he had 271,000 views around lunchtime, maybe. So I know a lot of people saw it. All right, so here we go. All right.
There's a new Shedeur in town, and it ain't you. All right, get up out of here.
Where you get that chain from?
It's my chain. Where you get your chain from? You had me and your mama staying till the end of the game because we thought they was gonna put you in today. From a guy that was on the sideline before, I liked your movement. I liked how you didn't sit down too long. You got up when you needed to get up. You was ready. At the end of the game, we thought you was gonna get in.
I did too. That's why I was warming up. I was being in the stand. His first game in the stand.
Buddy, I'm never going to a football game ever again in my life. I'll go to another one of your games, bro. I need to wear this in Cleveland, though.
Oh, yeah.
But you know how people always call, like, you, me, and me, you?
Yeah.
When I'm in regular clothes, they be like, oh, Shedeur. But now I actually dress like you, and everybody's like, Shiloh, Shiloh.
When he got out of the car with that, you guys look alike with that.
For real?
Now I see it.
That part right there. Did they practice that where they both started miming what they were going to say? I actually love that part. I thought it was hilarious. I don't know if I don't think they talked about this ahead of time, but did you notice how they both just started miming at the same time? And what was hilarious to me was Shadeur was like, where you get that chain from? Because I was even like, wait, that's Shadeur chain. Shadeur was like, where you get that chain from? Like, you must have went into my stuff. So they must have, I don't know, when they was all staying at the same place or whatever. But that is definitely Shadeur's chain. So I just thought that was funny. And they both started miming at the same time.
I did not give him that idea. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Bro, where Coach Stefanski at, bro? I'm trying to get on the team.
Hey, you know I'm gonna show love. I be trying to tell the people, hey, I got a safety for you. He about
I'm saying, bro. Yeah, bro. About 6'2", 200. Let's get.
That would be good if he ended up, if Shiloh ended up in Cleveland, but Cleveland would have to be a different team.
Ready to roll. Hey, but you know I'll get you right.
Hey, I believe it, bro. Hey, but you did good today, bro. You was like 3 thoughts away from getting in. Right, or am I tripping? You was about to get in today.
I really was. It was close.
That's what I'm saying.
It was close.
So he said he really thought he was about to get in. Here's the thing. I think he gonna play in Miami. I'm not saying he gonna start. I think he gonna get in the game in Miami. We'll get back to what I think later.
They was edging you today.
They was edging.
Did you feel my aura at the game today?
I was trying to look for you. Where was y'all at?
And I felt like I was on Spirit, bro. In them chairs, bro.
All you gotta do is just come to a home game, and I'll give you a box.
Not a box.
Nah, man, I ain't got no box.
But it's not fun. It's fun to understand.
I get a picture.
So Miss Pilar said it's not fun being in the box. It's better being in the stand. I think the box is for when you don't want to be seen. It's a whole lot of y'all in the game. You know, you're not that serious about the game. That's why it's good for business, right? It's just the game becomes background noise in the box.
Shut up,
bro. Hold on, bro. I came all the way out here, bro. Let me get mine first.
Hello, crazy.
I need to get mine with you guys. Can I get a picture?
I'm Shedeur, bro. You got on the Steelers jersey, bro. I gotta go first, bro. When you was like about to go on the field, your mom over here cleaning her glasses off for 30 seconds. I'm like, do you see this nigga about to go on the field? He about to play. Where are you from, bro?
Peters.
All right, we're about to ask you some questions. You want to be in it?
Sure.
All right. You got 3 questions to ask Shedeur. It could be anything you want.
Do you think you should be starting?
All right, bro. You just want to cause controversy. I see.
Do you think you should be starting? What you thought he was gonna say? And these are Steelers fans. I'm telling you. That's
No, I'm only answering interviews on his platform.
Oh.
Oh, so he's only doing interviews on his platform. That is hilarious. Okay. All right. So this was the other one. This is the one I like. Now, this some Browns fans and some Steelers fans. People not sure if this really is Shiloh or not. So I just thought this was funny. And Shiloh is hilarious. He really let people think that he's Shedeur. At one point, he did tell this one lady, and she was like, something about, I think she knew it was him because she said something about, I want to see you play the piano, or I've watched you play the piano, or something like that. So, but he kept pretending to be Shedeur. Some people fell for it, though. Some people really thought that he was Shedeur. I thought that was hilarious. So let's go here.
You saw my hat?
You know who I am?
Yep.
Who?
Shedeur Sanders.
Yes, sir.
I wanted you to go win.
I know.
Why'd they wait so long for Gabriel?
I don't know, man.
He's about why they wait so long for
Don't give
Gabriel.
up.
Steelers fans were cheering for you,
Thank you.
bro.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Seriously. We
He's
wanted
right.
to see you play, man.
Hey,
We wanted you to play so bad.
I appreciate it. You see me on the field or you see me on the
Oh,
side?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're like, come on,
Child.
come on, put him in. We were yelling, put in Sanders, put in
Yeah.
Sanders. Come on,
Right.
coach, we want
Right.
12.
Thank you.
Hey, everything happened for a reason, you know. I'm just thankful to God that I even have the opportunity to get on this field
Amen.
and to just get
It's all
the
about
chance, you know
God.
what I'm saying? So
We love you. We love you.
I appreciate y'all.
And
Thank
your
you.
dad, get a picture,
Wait,
Aaron.
do y'all know Shiloh?
Oh, heck
My
yeah,
brother?
number 28. Well, he was 28. I wanted to buy his jersey, but that's all right. I still am too.
I'm videotaping, so I'll take a
All right,
picture
there we
later.
go.
Oh, my God.
That's hilarious, y'all, because they really thought that was Shedeur. That is so funny. And let me go back to this part. So at this point, they really believe that he's Shedeur. And he tells her, I think you're my first Italian auntie. I thought that was so funny. Because I think somehow they on the subject of the fact that she was Italian. And he was like, you're my first Italian internet auntie. I was like, oh Lord. But they really believe up until this point that he is Shedeur.
Get a picture, Aaron.
Wait. Do y'all know Shiloh?
Oh, heck
My
yeah,
brother?
number 28. Well, he was 28. I wanted to buy his jersey, but that's all right. I still am too.
I'm videotaping, so I'll take a
All right,
picture
there we
later.
go.
Oh, my God. I can die.
So that look at this.
my hat?
Okay,
You know
did
who I
y'all see
am?
the Steelers fans coming up behind the group that took the group photo? Yeah. All right. So this is just right here. He's talking about you were like 3 thoughts away from getting in. That is hilarious. Shiloh is funny. Okay, this is another fan right here. This was good. This was good because this guy lost his toe. Check this out. Check this out. If you haven't seen it already.
2 months ago, April 1st, I lost my big toe at the age of 25. And real shit, excuse my language, real stuff. The only reason I didn't give up was because of your dad. In fact, he the GOAT, and he walking around with less than I got and still keeping it pumping. It's inspiration to anybody.
The good thing about losing toe is that when you get a pedicure, you get a discount though. So you good.
Hey, picture that might have been fun. 2 months ago, April 1st, I lost my big toe at the age of 25. And real shit, excuse my language, real stuff. The only reason I didn't give up was because of your dad. In fact, he the GOAT, and he walking around with less than I got and still keeping it pumping. It's inspiration to anybody.
The good thing about losing toe is that when you get a pedicure, you get a discount though. So you good.
Shiloh is a fool. Shiloh is I don't know if he should be a comedian or not, but Shiloh is comedy. Shiloh is comedy gold. I'm like, Shiloh, I didn't hear him. I watched it earlier, and I guess I was so caught up in the part where the guy said he lost his toe, so Coach Prime kind of kept him going. I was like, oh, okay. I guess I didn't hear the part where he told the joke about when about losing toes, you get a discount when you get a pedicure. I guess I didn't hear that. Shiloh is comedy gold. I know he really wants to play ball. I hope deep down inside this somehow gets resolved. And I don't know how you resolve racism like that, but I hope something transpires that he and Shedeur could live out that dream that they always wanted to, was, to play in the NFL, right? Because as you can see, the guy with the toe, Coach Prime, is still an influence. So there's nothing the NFL can do to smother the Sanders influence from the NFL, because at the Falcons game last night, a gaggle of 21 jerseys, right? So it's futile to try to hold Shedeur back because you don't want the Sanders name to be talked about, because you prefer the Manny's name. That's not up to you. That's up to the fans. And as you can see, even the Steelers fans wanted Shedeur to play. So that's really where we are, ladies and gentlemen. They want to suppress the Sanders legacy. They want to suppress Coach Prime's coaching influence in college football, because he already like the top 4, top 5 influential coach, making $10 million a year, getting the recruits. And the crazy part is they don't get a gaggle of 5 stars, but they develop the players there. So again, even if they don't get a load of 5 stars, what's the big deal? They never had a load of five stars like that, right? Travis and Shedeur, neither one of them were 5 stars at Jackson State or Colorado. I think Travis was a 5-star, and they devalued him when he decided to go to Jackson State. So the NFL is not stopping the Sanders influence. What the NFL is going to end up doing, in addition to becoming the National Mediocrity League, is push the Sanders to start their own league. And sometimes I really think that's where it is going, but it might rest on Shedeur and Shiloh's shoulders, just because, Coach Prime does have some health issues that could, slow him down a little bit when it comes to going off and being that ambitious. Because, that could be a huge undertaking, right? He still is the head coach at Colorado, and then that will be a side gig. So it would have to be led by Shedeur and Shiloh. But at the end of the day, I think the NFL knows that. I think the NFL knows if they release Shedeur, because they didn't try it like 3 times. If they actually release him, about 4 to 6 million fans going to go do whatever it is that he decides to do. And it's going to be football related, right? So shame on the NFL. They making themselves mediocre, trying to hurt the Sanders, but you can't hurt the Sanders brand, right? The Sanders brand is etched, whether it's Atlanta, Deion's family playbook, all of the kids having their own lives. Hell, even the grandson, Snow, has his own page that's thriving out here. Snow has his own fan base, right? I know every time I see a picture of Snow, I'm like, oh my God, he's so cute. He has his own fan base. And that has nothing to do with the NFL. You're not going to stop that. But that's what they're trying to do. So we're deprived of seeing Shiloh and Shedeur ball out. They're deprived of their true opportunities to get to greatness in the NFL, something their dad did. Dreams cut short or delayed because the NFL thinks that it can control the Sanders legacy and Coach Prime's coaching influence, but it can't. It can't. So let me see. I got some other stuff up here. What else did I have up here? So shout out to bro, the one who said 2 months ago, I lost my big toe. The only reason I did not give up or didn't give up was because of your dad. Right. See, the NFL, you're not stopping that, bro. You're not stopping that. So it said Shiloh knew damn well what the answer was. Oh, this is the one everybody been talking about. This is Shiloh asking a question. What if Coach Stefanski said, if you and dad sit together for a whole game, then Shedeur can start? Would you do it? Pilar said, honey, you're never getting in. I'm like, damn. Wasn't she just at the draft party?
In case I get in, like.
All right, so
In case I get in, like.
all right, so how about this? All right, what if Coach Stefanski said, if you and Dad sit next to each other for the whole game, then Shedeur can start? Would you do it or no?
Honey, you'll never get in.
Oh my
Shedeur.
God!
You saw Shedeur?
Now we gotta ask
You
Dad.
saw Shedeur. Look, that's so awkward.
Would you do it or sit next to each other for the whole game, then Shedeur can start? Would you do it or no?
Honey, you'll never get in.
Oh my God! Now we gotta ask Dad.
Why you gotta ask your dad if your mama said no? That's a bad blood. Now they were at the draft party event together, and that didn't seem to be a problem. And that one came and went 5 months ago. And now she like, I love you, Shadeur, but you ain't getting in that game if this gotta happen. I'm like, man. So it's Shadeur's reaction for me. He just stays silent and cover his mouth like, okay. Yeah, it's some bad blood there. And I know y'all saw this, so we'll be talking about this as well.
How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
I'm
I
Shiloh.
try to make sure he stays out of trouble. That's my job.
Oh, he's never in trouble. I've known him for a long time. He's a good guy.
He's actually great to me. So
Yeah. He just
So her job, she say, is to keep Shedeur out of trouble. People talking about, okay, what's going on here? So she came to find him to make sure he wasn't getting in trouble. This is babysitter.
sent me a helicopter to bring me here today.
Excuse me.
The fans be talking so much trash, bro. It'd be so funny. Like now I understand. People just be bored and go on Twitter and just hate. But they just in case like.
So that's it. I think that was it. All right. So that was it. All right. So let's talk about that first, and then we'll come back to this. This was Eric Dickerson. I guess he was talking about what he said and where he got the information from. But he said something else too. I guess there was a longer form video that must have came out. But anyway, let's get over to the comments because we'll just get back to that. Let me stop sharing my screen so I can share the comments. So yeah, Shiloh is hilarious. Shiloh know his mom and daddy. I guess, you know, kids always hope their parents get back together. So that must be what it is with Shiloh. He must, and maybe because they were at the draft party together. But it was good they made it through that, you know, because remember right before that, on senior day, Coach Prime, when his 8 toes ran off when she came, I'm like, there's some bad blood there. And she was like, honey, you'll never get in if that has to happen. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. It said my Steelers are going to bury Flacco. Oh, do they play the Bengals this week? Oh, my goodness. My goodness. I don't want Flacco to get buried. They said Flacco actually did better. They said, yeah. They said Flacco and the Bengals scored more points than the Browns had all season or something like that. I guess so. So they say Flacco doing good in the Bengals. I'm starting to think he wanted out. Did anyone watch Shiloh video in Cleveland? Yes. It said, happy Tuesday, everyone. It said Pickett has yet to make an appearance for the Raiders. Really? I thought they said Geno Smith wasn't good. Why didn't he put Pickett in? That's interesting. So they just want Geno Smith out there so they can kick on him. Interesting. Yes, Titus, free Shedeur. Free Shedeur. Remember I told y'all yesterday, Shedeur Sanders fan base had the consensus of, you know what, he don't need to play. It's okay. Because this organization is just rife with toxicity. That's what I say. It's toxic. So, and the foundation is toxic, right? It's rotten. It's like it's rotten to the core, inside and out. And, you know, I asked the question coming up, you know, is Shedeur Sanders really safe at QB, whether it's QB2 or QB1 with Kevin Stefanski? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. It said fate as it seems. It's not without a sense of irony. Thank you, Morpheus. Thank you so much. It says Shiloh is so creative and a clown. He has amazing talent. He is hilarious. I just saw a post where Coach Prime must have been getting ready for a commercial where he looked like Santa Claus with a gray beard. And when he was getting ready, he said, if I had to be bothered with Shiloh all day, I would look like this gray hair all day. I was like, Lord, have mercy. See, I never watched their family show, so I only saw a few episodes, like when Shiloh was trying to get a man to bring the Porsche to the house, something like that. Shiloh is a mess. He had me laughing late last night. Right. Like I said, he had 271,000 views before lunch today. It says some could not tell the difference. Yeah, some really thought it was Shedeur. And I don't know if y'all saw the black guy when they were at the tailgate. He was, I guess the game hadn't started yet. And it's my look, that's Shedeur, y'all. And I was like, bro, that ain't Shedeur. But you know, he really was fooled. They really didn't know. And that group with the ladies, they didn't realize it until Shiloh was walking away that was not Shedeur. Some people really thought it was. It said now Browns fans and talking heads don't want to trade Shedeur, right? Because the consensus is if he gets out of Cleveland and goes to another team, that the Browns was trash, so he should play. But if the owners are still colluding against Shedeur, he's not supposed to go somewhere else and play. He's supposed to stay there and rock on the bench. And everybody wants to blame Stefanski. Nobody wants to blame Haslam. But did they forget that the owners took Shedeur off the board? See, they're giving the owners a pass. Haslam doesn't get a pass, right? Haslam has the same philosophy that Stefanski does. And now everybody's standing on Andrew Berry head, but that's on him. That's his. He caused that. He put himself in that situation. So hopefully the money he makes is enough to make him not care. So I don't know. So, you know, it's sad. The whole league loves Shedeur except Cleveland. Fact. Totally agree. That's why they sent him there. See, it shows you that the league knows exactly what Cleveland is. That's why 13 teams wanted Deshaun Watson, and they swore Deshaun Watson has played his last snap. But now, this is the talk. Andrew Berry got to be fired. It's his fault. I told y'all Myles Garrett is not good. We can't wait till Deshaun Watson come back. I'm like, what? All in the same breath. We'll get our leader in the draft next year. I say you have a leader. You just don't want your leader, and that's problematic, right? And that's the talking heads coming out of Cleveland trying to run with the narrative that Stefanski doesn't need to be fired. He just don't have a competent team. I'm like, y'all deserve each other. And Shedeur, hashtag free Shedeur. It said Jalen Ramsey literally tried to put him in the game, right? Right? It said, no, Cleveland loves Shedeur. It's Stefanski that's the problem. It's Stefanski and Haslam. Haslam does not get a pass. Haslam does not get a pass. In fact, he's the catalyst for everything that's happening. He's the reason that team is rotten to the core. His culture that he brought with him from Knoxville, Tennessee, the University of Tennessee, is exactly why they are talking about, well, maybe we should get Peyton. You think Haslam would get Peyton Manning a call and have him come run the team to replace Barry? You think that's a coincidence? And you know who was saying it? The one I told y'all that's playing in y'all face. Rizzo. Rizzo was like, yeah, I think, it wouldn't surprise me if Haslam gives a call to Peyton. That's why the talking points are parroted that Barry's the problem. So here's what they want to do, right? They want to kick Barry out, bring in Peyton Manning. Even if the Manning kid doesn't come this year, then the Manning kid can come next year. You see? It's all about the Mannings, which is why they're trying to suppress the Sanders. I have said this, and the Mannings have done this, the three teams that were involved with Shedeur. The Saints, who got burned because Tyler Shaw was a dud. The Giants, who they over there propping up Dart. And then now the Browns. So it seems like wherever the Mannings go, the Sanders get shunned. The Sanders ain't gonna never admit that. You know, they might think it's a good thing, but I'm on the outside looking in. Patterns don't lie at all. Just like Antonio Pierce, he just public with it. Wasn't it the Mannings that was having a conversation? Who was having a conversation with Liam Cohen about Travis and he didn't do this and he didn't do that at Colorado? Wasn't it the Mannings? See, people don't want to admit what's going on here. How influential and how the Mannings have their hands in choosing the quarterbacks for these teams because they come through the Manning Passing Academy, and how they're associated with the teams that didn't just devalue Shedeur, that worked to actively humiliate Shedeur. There are no coincidences here. It's that Mike Tomlin went off on Barry. He should have. Because Mike Tomlin knows better than we do Andrew Barry reeled in Shedeur to be discriminated against. See, there's a thing, right? You have to ask. They say the NFL is trying to teach Shedeur a lesson. That's just code for open discrimination. What lesson are they trying to teach him? What did he do wrong? Has the NFL apologized to Shedeur? The NFL gave out his phone number, which led to him being humiliated. The NFL humiliated him by taking him off the board. When you lock somebody out the first round, you don't want to pay them first round money. What did they make fun of? His money being an uncooked Pop-Tart. This was all intentional, including getting Flacco and getting Pickett. And they trying to walk that back and say, oh, everything got messed up when Pickett wasn't good. Pickett was never sharing a locker with Jerry Jeudy. Flacco was. So Pickett wasn't never the starter. Pickett was going to always be a 5th round pick when they get Shedeur to get their pick back. Flacco was always temporary because somebody going to take over when they get to game 7, 8, or 9. Boog out here talking about let it play out because you're going to see Stefanski going to do what he have to do, this, that, and the other. Okay. And all that means is they robbed him of $40 million. And yeah, he might be getting it back through jerseys, but he will be getting the jersey money and his $46 million. No excuses. No excuses for fraud. No excuses for bait and switch. They're not trying to teach him a lesson. They're openly discriminating against him under the guise of we're trying to teach him a lesson so everybody could look the other way. Because they don't want to be called racist. Isn't that what's happening right now in court with Brian Flores' allegations? The NFL is rife with racism, and that includes the black quarterbacks being discriminated against too. In Shedeur a black quarterback? See, they don't want to admit. So that's what's really going on. So they want to throw everything else at you, make up excuses for Callahan. And I can't believe the Browns fans want to even try to get Callahan. I'm like, are y'all just attracted to losing? Because why would you want a coach that was fired? All of these coaches out here, go get Brian Flores and make the shit right for once instead of messing up people's careers. And then somebody said, yeah, I don't think Haslam will get Brian Flores because Flores is actively suing the NFL. So I don't think Haslam will get involved in that. I said, what you mean get involved with it? Haslam is actively discriminating against Shedeur, which confirms the damn allegations that Brian Flores has in his lawsuit, that the NFL is rife with racism. So what the hell he don't want to get involved with it? So he could get exposed? He already exposed. It's just nobody's holding him accountable, which is why he keep doing it. So Shedeur not going nowhere till all 32 owners decide where the hell it is he going, because all 32 owners decided to take him off the board and agreed not to draft him, whether they wanted to or not. Because I can collude with you or I can collude against you. And the NFL is colluding against the Sanders family for nothing. It's futile. You're not stopping their celebrity. They locked in with over 6 million fans. It said Cleveland doesn't think they can do any better. It said they've been asking who can they get if Kevin get fired. Here's what I don't understand, right? If Kevin get fired, Kevin should be fired. Who the hell is it that Titans are looking at? Why do you think they can't get nobody? Don't they have a whole coaching staff over there? Aren't you supposed to elevate an intern, Tommy Reese, as the intern? And people like, nah, he can't be the head coach either. Why? He ain't racist. He willing to tell the truth and be transparent. See, that's what's really going on in NFL. I said before the season, the NFL is in a tug of war. What do I mean by that? Everybody is not willing to be Kevin Stefanski. You got Tommy Reese, who's going to sit on the podium and be honest about the talent. And you got Kevin Stefanski, who's a faithful servant, who's going to sit up there and discriminate against the talent. Everybody don't want to be Kevin Stefanski. People don't want to have their kids go to school. And when people realize that their daddy is the one that's racist against the best quarterback coming out of college and the face of the Cleveland Browns, nobody wants to be associated with. Racism is expensive. Even if you ain't paying for it yet, you're going to pay for it. Here's the thing. If it was okay to be racist, Haslam would be outwardly racist. He wouldn't be using Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski is useful because not everybody's willing to take off their damn mask or their hood and let people know that they're willing to upend Black people's careers. You got to get a special kind of fool for that. And everybody's not willing to do that. And to be honest with you, white quarterbacks don't want to go to Cleveland either. Baker Mayfield and how well he's doing. Are they talking about that? No. But they want to blame Andrew Berry. Andrew Berry is responsible for some things, but not the talent on the field and the development. Are they even developing players over there? They knew what Dylan was when they drafted him 3rd round. Why do you think they drafted him 3rd round? Because they already knew they was going to get Shedeur. As bad as Dylan is, they had no hopes for him. As injury prone as Pickett is, they had no hopes for him. As slow and old and kind of, you know, just standing in the pocket as Flacco is, they had no hopes for them. They had no hopes that one of them would lead. But the one that was sharing a locker with Jerry Jeudy, who was supposed to be their starting wide receiver, is Flacco. And they got him last, which meant they slowly but surely spaced out their 3 quarterbacks after they already decided to devalue Shedeur. You think Haslam don't know Shedeur was locked out of the 1st round? That just gave him an excuse to say, we don't have to get him. That's why he was locked out of the 1st round. There's so much wrong here. And instead of people trying to make it right, they just making excuses for people like Kevin Stefanski. And they can't seemingly come up with any good people who are not racist to be the head coach. They got to go get Callahan, who was the reason there was a whole ass noose over there at the Tennessee Titans construction site. That's probably why they fired him. Because he was running around there thinking it's okay to be Stefanski over here in Tennessee. Apparently it ain't. Everybody is not with that. And they're not willing to go on the record publicly to support it, but the Browns are. They're going to get what's coming to them one day. They so happy, they're willing to pay $100 million to get the hell out of Cleveland, to run over there to Brook Park so they can sell you something. Because that's all the Star is, somewhere for you to go and spend money. And once they get that open, and you think they don't care about winning right now? When was the last time Dallas won anything? The Star opened in 2016. How many championships and chips do they have since 2016? 0. And if you think Cleveland is playing in your face right now, because one of their people over there finally admitted it. Barry is, Haslam is selling us some BS. I said it yesterday. Yep. They laughing out loud in your face and counting your money at the same time because they had no intentions on winning this year. Y'all have a franchise QB sitting on the bench and you lose because he's black, because he's famous, because you can't abuse him and get away with it. Finally, they realized they just playing in our face. We've been saying it all summer long. All summer long. As if they're unqualified coaches. Right. All these coaches out here and you can't find nobody. You got coaches on your staff. You can't elevate one of them. What does that say if you don't have nobody on your staff that you can elevate? No, I'm going to tell you what you don't have. You don't have no more faithful service to the Cleveland Browns, and nor should you. That's the tug of war the NFL is in. There are people that work for the NFL that actually just want to coach football. Then there are some that want to control black bodies. That's the tug of war the NFL is in. It's old ways versus the new culture of the NFL. That's the tug of war they're in. And unfortunately, because the owners are 32 incestuously close, they're not willing to break rank and stand up for what's right. So maybe they all got to fall down at the same time, because what's happening, people are talking about how the play is becoming mediocre, right? Because the draft wasn't based on talent. And you trying to take people like CJ Stroud and you trying to take him away from QB1 and send him to Cleveland till the Manning kid come out and devalue him. And if I'm CJ Stroud, I just might be ready to retire. And that's what these players need to start doing. They need to come in here with the goal of 5 years and I'm out. Because if he go to Cleveland, what's going to happen to CJ Stroud? The same thing that happened to him with the Texans. He going to be devalued. And what did I hear today? Is Jaden Daniels in a sophomore slump? I'm like, God damn it, I need to learn how to bet because I called it. I called it. I said first he's going to get sacked, then they're going to be asking is he a sophomore slump? They're going to do the same thing to Shedeur. Yup. They did it to Justin Fields, Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, now Jaden Daniels. Next, Shedeur. Next, Lenore Sellers. It's just a playbook. It said, accustomed to the culture of losing. Yeah, it seems like it. And that's crazy to me. It said, Mike Tomlin, I don't have no problem with what Mike Tomlin said. I'm like, somebody need to call Andrew Berry out. It said, I'm not worried about Shedeur or Shiloh. They're going to make it. It said, thank you for the reporting how low down they are in NFL. Yup. It said, stop financially supporting the rich and continue to rich off the fans. Right. And here's the thing, right? The Cleveland fans don't have to go to the game. They can cancel them season tickets. But there's one church. A church actually put out a sign that said, Browns fans, do you really not have anything else better to do on Sundays? Now, when a church sign call you out, and that's the problem. It seems like there's nothing else to do. So they running over there to Brook Park to build somewhere for you to spend money out. It don't appear to be one of the richest states out there. So I don't know. Maybe that's just pockets. I'm not sure. But that's their meal ticket. And once they get that star in Cleveland, they're not going to care about winning. Isn't that the biggest complaint about Dallas? Right. They don't have to. So it said 5 head coaches have been fired in major colleges and schools before Halloween. Right. And one of them, James Franklin, people are upset about. He's black. He was there in his 12th season. They lost 3 games in a row. So they fired him. I say, okay, is somebody out there they want to fire? And what they're doing is people like Deshaun Foster got fired, but then UCLA got a new coach. He's white and he's winning. So they like, okay, James Franklin is black. They tell me, oh, he lost to UCLA, so he got fired. That man was there 12 years. They say he should be happy with the $52 million buyout. How much is Coach Prime's buyout? Bingo. Then I just say it's somebody they want to get to. They run around taking jobs from black people and giving them to white people. It's not just outside the NFL. It's not just in college football. A $52 million buyout. That man been there 12 years. They lost 3 games. We don't even know why they lost 3 games. 3 games in 12 years. 0-3, meaning that's the first time. And they're like, here, take this $52 million and get on, because it's more important for them to have a white coach than it is to have a black one. Let's see if Colorado, how they roll. We're going to see what's happened when they come back from this bye week. I don't think anybody expected Colorado to beat Iowa State. I don't think they were supposed to beat Iowa State. But them kids said to hell with this. And they dug down deep and they got it done. And that's what they're going to have to do for the next 5. It's not a coincidence that the NFL got it out for Coach Prime's influence. Colorado benefited from it, just like Penn State did with James Franklin, right? And look how dirty they did him. And his buyout was $52 million. I think Coach Prime's might be 44, 45, 46, somewhere in there. And I don't know where he would end up next. Not with the assault that's out here that's happening. If you're a black coach, 12 years in, and you go 0-3, you ain't safe. So I'm glad Colorado got it together. I'm glad Coach Prime made those improvements. But we're going to see. Because I don't think nobody's safe yet. Not if you're a black college head coach and one of these big programs that they want. Because look at all the power and influence. Look at all of the people that work there, right? Coach Prime has a decision on a lot of things that they want to have a decision on. I want to have the say of the culture of the team. I want to have a say of the NIL deals and who gets them. I want to have a say in who the quarterback is. I want to have a say in who work here. I want to have a say in who can record. They want to have the control. They don't want Coach Prime with it. So we just gonna have to see what happens, right? So now they're talking about Penn State coach getting the coach from Indiana and the coach from Nebraska, Matt Rule, right? So Matt Rule is a candidate. I'm like, why would you take Matt Rule from Nebraska? He 5-1. Why he got to go to Penn State? Who gonna go to Nebraska? Trust me, they already know. So those are the coaches that they value: Matt Rule and Indiana's coach. It's that Colorado players are the best in being ready for the NFL. Prime is grooming them like that, right? But the NFL don't respect it though. That was the whole point of the draft. That was the whole point of the draft. It say, I applaud Tomlin. They pissed him off about Shedeur too, but he couldn't say that. No, he couldn't say anything. And you know what he did was basically call out another black man for allowing what's happening to Shadeur. See, people don't want to admit the discrimination that's taking place, and Barry is the one that reeled him in. Barry is the one that want to take credit for Shadeur playing, but Barry can't call off or call Stefanski. But they supposed to be bosom buddies or, you know, freaking frack or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They supposed to be in sync, which is why people thought it was interesting that when they asked Stefanski about Andrew Barry and what Mike Tomlin said, he said, I don't have no comment. So people were shocked by that. People were. They were like, oh, okay. Because normally you take up for him. But Stefanski seems to think that Barry just on his own traded away Flacco. But Barry ain't got that kind of power. From what I said, Barry don't have no power like that. He can probably get them little running backs that's 3rd and 4th on the depth chart, but he could not be the sole advocate for Shedeur, Quishon Junkins, Isaiah Bond. No. Not anybody that has a personality. Absolutely not. It said facts. They want to nip it in the bud to save the good old boy system. Right. That's really all it is. So what they doing in college. Okay. So if you notice when Coach Prime went to Jackson State, all the attention went, a lot of attention, 1.8 million views for, I think it was a game. And I shared it before, right? With Coach Prime at Jackson State. And then I told y'all, I said, you know, depending on how this go this season with Coach Prime, you know, because don't be surprised if they find $44 million. And because I'm pretty sure they probably already went to Rick George and they was like, it's you or him. You know, these people seem to be in the business of saving themselves. Now, he might be safe. He might be safe, but it is a message. The buyout of James Franklin for $52 million after 12 years of being successful, you go 0-3, you got to go. If not this year, next year. Meaning, don't get comfortable. Because believe me, that's a message. Instead, the rich controls that make money off of the Sanders family's fans and friends. Yeah, they're trying. I mean, honestly, I don't watch the games. I don't think I never bought a Cleveland jersey. I think I bought a 144 jersey, and y'all help me buy that, right? So I try to be very limited, very limited. I don't even know what it could be. It said, it's run like a plantation. Facts, and with them going for Franklin's job, and that man didn't do anything wrong. And here's what people are saying: oh, he's good. His buyout was $52 million. That ain't the point. The point is you took his job when he didn't do nothing wrong. All the NFL is doing is mimicking what's happening in broader society. I think Don Lemon talked about it. He had a comedian on his show, but they were being serious. He said 350,000 Black women lost their jobs from January to June. And they're talking about, oh, it's not a big dip in unemployment. For who? 350,000. Not just anybody. Black women. Because why? Black women are the most educated demographic in the United States. Black women, 71% of master's degrees or advanced degrees. And now They coming out of college 2 by 2, taking the bar, going to law school, taking the bar exam together, becoming lawyers together. Because that's what happens when you push us down. We get together and I'll come back on you. So while 350,000 may have been pushed out of corporate America, you ain't pushing them out their own law firms. And it's plenty of business out here. You see how that worked? It said, I am sure Mike Tomlin knew what was going down with the draft. Right. And no. You say he didn't say squat. I think he did. Coach Prime knew before the draft something was going on. Mike Tomlin knew something the day of the draft. Andrew Berry knew something the day of the draft, because Andrew Berry knew that Shedeur was their guy until, that's why Haslam was the one that came out and threw Andrew Berry under the bus. Well, we took a big swing and miss with Deshaun Watson. He made everybody believe that Andrew Berry was responsible for Deshaun Watson. He was not. And that's why everybody thought he was responsible for getting Shedeur. I don't know why people thought this man had a soft spot for black people. Oh, he knew. This man is from Knoxville, Tennessee. And to this day, Knoxville, Tennessee is 75% white. And he went to the University of Tennessee. That's why he in love with the Mannings. That's why they talking about getting Peyton Manning in. The narrative is to push Berry out, but that's his problem. But to push Berry out just to put Manning in his spot. People talking about it at the radio station, they know the plan is to get the Mannings somehow involved, whether it's like Tom Brady. It could be limited partnership, and we work for you, and we help you choose the next quarterbacks and players. Isn't that what they did for the Saints? Isn't that what they did for the Giants? And now they're going to do it for the Browns. Woo. So I think he did say something, to be honest with you. Mike Tomlin was asked about Shedeur right before the draft, because Shedeur interviewed with him. And, he spoke well of him. That's why on draft day, what did he say? There were these phone calls, and we had to listen to the phone calls. These were on speaker. They were all but telling him, you can't draft Shedeur. But here's the crazy part in, right? The owner and the GM of the Steelers put that on the head coach. How many head coaches out here drafting players? That's on the GM, but they didn't want to take the responsibility. So they wanted to pit a black man against another black man. I don't know how these players do it. Because you got to try to sidestep landmines every day. You can't even take up for your own guy. I can tell the way Travis answers questions. Don't even ask me nothing. You notice they don't ask Travis about Coach Prime because they don't want him to say nothing good, but they always ask Jimmy. They pitting these players against each other. It's crazy. I'm like, it's got to be something else y'all could do. I'm sorry. I just really feel like that. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing, Cappy? How you doing? It said the New York Jets media is also wanting to trade a 5th-round pick for Shedeur. The Jets media? The Jets media trying to trade for Shedeur. All he going to do is go there and be QB3. He only QB2 right now. So he will be going back to QB2. Or are they going to take Tyrod Taylor, who's actively suing the NFL after puncturing his lung? Are they going to move him to QB2 and pit Shedeur against Tyrod Taylor? Or are they going to try to pit Shedeur against Justin Fields, who hadn't thrown an interception yet? Yes, they have a black head coach. They're also 0-5. So, yes, it could happen. They don't believe the team has hopes of going anywhere. They will tell the GM and the head coach, and they would tell the owners that he can come over there, but he got to be QB3 or 2, and you can let them fight it out because they are black, so it don't matter. So, yeah, it could happen. Pitting black people against each other. Facts. Controlling the coach, because he's 0-5. If you ever want to win a game, this is what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to get Shedeur over here and make it look like something you want to do. And he can't go, he can't get to QB1. So Justin going to have to be QB1. And since Tyrod's suing us, Shedeur could be QB2 and Tyrod could go to 3. Or you can cut him, it don't matter. But he probably can't cut it. That's why he's still there. Said Jerry Jones will make it right. I am waiting on all 3 guys to go to Dallas. Okay, we're going to see. We're going to see, because I don't see no signs of that. It said you almost wish Shiloh had stayed at South Carolina. For what? What difference does that make? You mean, well, Lenora Sellers is? Nah, we good. Shiloh likes going to an HBCU. Honestly, I wish Shiloh had gone to Jackson State's homecoming because it was good. The game, Jackson State versus Alabama State, the vet was packed out. All they needed was for Shiloh to come through there. And that would have been amazing. But he said it was this past weekend and he couldn't get there. But honestly, that should have been on his calendar. So hopefully he put it on his calendar, content calendar for next year. It said, I thought he was the head coach of the Steelers. Why is he getting involved? Because he's speaking out. He's speaking out about Barry's role and what's happening to Shedeur, as he should. What are we just not saying? How Antonio Pierce is trying to drag down Shedeur. And he supposedly was what? Friends with Coach Prime. Like, what the hell? Man, he out here dragging Shedeur like Shedeur begging the media to come into the locker room. I even said the media shouldn't be in there. But he don't want to hold the Browns accountable. He want to hold Shedeur accountable or the Browns PR accountable. I'm like, so you out here jockeying for a job, so you don't want to hold the Browns accountable. This is why the Raiders fired you, because you lame, bro. Get the hell on with that. Shedeur is not the problem, you know? And that's my thing. Shedeur got to get out of this organization. But that's a God thing, right? He over there because they didn't want him nowhere. So they're like, fine, begrudgingly send him over there. And he going to be there till guys say, let's move on. And it could be the Jets. One of the quarterbacks that the NFL compared Shedeur to was Geno Smith. Geno Smith went from bad team to bad team to bad team. Then he finally landed somewhere. It worked out with Pete Carroll with the Seahawks. He did well, had basically the same good record as Sam Darnold, but they booted Sam Darnold. Well, Sam Darnold got offered $100 million by Seattle to come over there, and they booted Geno Smith out, and now they say he trash. I thought I heard them say Ashton Jeanty is trash. Am I mistaken about that? They going in tough on Ashton Jeanty. Do y'all know why they drafted Ashton Jeanty in the first round? So they wouldn't have to draft Shedeur. There's a lot of people blocking Shedeur. It still is. And it's nothing he did. He just that damn good. And he's famous and he's elite. So that's going to only continue to grow. And it still is, despite them trying to stop him. So it's futile, but they're not going to give up just yet. Maybe toward the end of the season. It said he got Shedeur chain on. Yeah, that's what Shedeur was like. Where you get that chain from? And Shedeur's the younger brother. He was like, wait a minute. I thought that was funny. He sounded like the little brother. Wait, where you get that chain from? I did wonder. I'm like, how you get his chain? But I don't know. I don't know. It said the video now has 355,000. Wow. Shiloh doing numbers. Not a surprise because Shiloh and Miss Pilar have a video with over 1 million views. I think maybe 2 years ago, maybe when they first got the Boulder or something. Those two seem like they always together. Like Coach Prime and Shedeur, and then Shiloh and his mom. It seemed like they always together. That's her babies, though. It said, what if the owner told Barry to trade Flacco? It said, Mike doesn't know about that. Mike. It said, what if Mike Tomlin? It could have happened. I still say one or two things. I still say it was retaliation for Flacco getting close to Shedeur, and they didn't like that. Or Flacco didn't like being benched behind Dylan. Because what the hell did you have me do all of this for? Dylan ain't better than me, and he not. He not. So Flacco got his own clout and got the hell out of there. People say Flacco doing better. We shall see. I'm shocked that he left. He got traded for a 6th round, which means they tried to devalue him. But then they made him a starter on the other side. So it gives the appearance that the Browns was doing something dirty, but people was looking out for Flacco on the other side. Like, you know what? Okay, we'll take him for a 6th round pick, but you ain't going to make me bench him. You see? You see what I'm saying? When you send somebody with a 6th round pick, you're saying they're not valuable. That's where the retaliation coming in. Because they gave him a contract for $4 million that totaled $13 million with incentives. But suddenly he goes to London and he hanging out guiding Shedeur like he been doing, basically. Guiding Shedeur, and they pissed off about it because maybe it ain't Dylan. And next thing you know, Stefanski out here saying he ain't making no changes to the quarterback. Flacco gone. So either they got into it and they try to devalue him with the trade, but they couldn't tell the Bengals what to do. See, that's the difference, right? That's the difference when there's no moratorium on a player. Prime example, this same thing happened with Bryce Young. I have talked about this. When there was no moratorium on Bryce Young. It's just there was a little conspiracy against him, having him sacked excessively, just like C.J. Stroud, Caleb Williams, Justin Fields, yada, 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 right? But there was no owners said he can't move. He has to be here. There was no collusion, right? Just foul play. The moment it was announced that Bryce Young was benched, people thought the Carolina Panthers was crazy out of their mind to bench the Heisman winner, first round pick, for being sacked excessively when their O-line was trash. And teams were about to commit a hostile takeover to go in and get Bryce Young. And they benched Bryce Young, but refused to trade him. Do you see any type of activity with people pissed off that Shedeur is sitting on the bench and rotting? Of course, Troy Aikman, but he don't have no position on no team, so that's his opinion. Do you like Bryce Young? There were actual teams was like, let us get it. But see, they devalued him, but the other teams weren't with it, so they want to get it. That's not happening with Shedeur. And Shedeur's good. And they tried to ask Bryce Young when the Browns played the Panthers, do you have any advice for Shedeur? I loved Bryce Young's answer. He said he got plenty of experience of his own. He don't need no advice from me. You see how they try to pit black players against each other? Why you didn't ask a white quarterback what he thought? Because you don't want to put a white quarterback in that position. Just like the Browns didn't want to put a white quarterback, a white GM in the position with the whole Deshaun Watson thing in Shedeur. But now they're ready to get one in Peyton Manning. That's why Andrew Berry gonna learn a valuable lesson. If he's smart, he'll call his brother up over in Philly and say, hey, I need you to make a trade. Just get Shedeur the hell out of Cleveland. Just put him over there in Philly for the rest of the season behind Jalen Hurts. Nothing wrong with that. Because I promise you, the owner's not gonna let him. The owner's not gonna let him go nowhere else to start. He's gonna have to go somewhere at QB2 or QB3, but he ain't gonna be able to go past QB2. And somebody gonna have to get hurt. And then it's gonna be some people flipping their wigs behind the scenes. You're gonna be hearing the same narrative. So-and-so is trash and this, that, and the other, because they didn't hold this young man back. Because they don't want to get him to get out there and ball out. That video where he played against the Panthers has 2.5 million views. Isn't that about how many people were at the game? That watched the game during the first run. 1.9 million watched the game during the first run. Now it's at 2.5. That's preseason. And you have other fans, other clubs, fans calling for him to play. They don't like that. Because they thought burying him was going to suppress his celebrity. They thought they could control that. So they pissed off and they're not going to let him move until they're forced into it. And if that Brian Flores lawsuit ever get to a point where we can start talking about what's in it publicly 24/7 like they did the Diddy case, then maybe. But it's going to take something like that. But he just need to hang on because God opened the door. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. It said Mike needs to stay. That Mike Tomlin did not do anything wrong. Mike Tomlin took up for a young black quarterback because he see a black GM over there, allowing him to be actively discriminated against and reeled him in. He knows that. See, there's a lot that happened behind the scenes with these two clubs, and we don't know. But the point is, the GM should have been the one in Pittsburgh on the hot seat, but they wanted to put it on Mike Tomlin. So I don't blame Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin said it wasn't no point Shedeur coming to Pittsburgh because he was going to have to be QB2 behind Aaron Rodgers, and he knew Shedeur was better than that. And Shedeur is a starter. And he probably doesn't think much of Barry for being over there and being a GM, which is higher than a head coach, and letting it happen. But that tells you that Haslam is pulling the strings. Because, yes, the GM can get rid of the damn head coach if you want to. It says Shiloh looks good in that Browns uniform. Pick him up, Cleveland. No. He has on his chain and first jersey. Shiloh is wild. Yes. It said the defense is pretty good though. Yeah, no, their defense is good, but hell, they still blaming Barry. They saying Barry inherited like Denzel Ward and some of the other players, but the team isn't good. I'm like, the whole team ain't trash. I saw that replay with Isaiah Bond being hit in the helmet, and he got mad. He got mad, and one of the linemen was like, "It's all right, bro. Come on." I'm like, imagine you out here and you get hit in your head, or one of the other receivers get injured, or hospital balls, as people call it. I'm like, that's crazy. But it's not Dylan's fault. Dylan didn't get no trouble for trying to assault number 6 or whoever that was that tackled him, just like Shiloh did. So they're letting you know that's Jim Crow, right? White people can do it, or people that white people want to protect can do it, but black people can't, right? That's all it is. They're not trying to teach him a lesson. They're actively and openly discriminating against him. Antonio Pierce lasted 1 season as a head coach, and he should shut his mouth. That's what he should do. He should shut his mouth, because you could see that he's just jockeying for something, right? Somebody let him on the platform, and he want to trash Shedeur. And somebody said, you don't want Shedeur to talk to the media, but you want to be a coach in the NFL, but you don't know that the players have a media clause that they have to make themselves available to the media. You see what I mean by, I see why they fired you? You don't know Shedeur has to make himself available to the media, but it's his fault that he talking to the media. You only tore down Shedeur with that ridiculous statement because you want somebody to think that if you get a job in the NFL, you're not going to hire Shedeur because you think you got fired because you're on camera and Coach Prime said, hire my sons. Yeah, that's what you think. I know that's what you think, but that ain't it. They made room for Pete Carroll because they wasn't going to get Shedeur either. All 32 teams had made that decision. Wasn't nothing Tom Brady could do, but he knew about it. But Coach Prime found out about something because remember, a week before the draft, let me get out of here and go on vacation before the bull jump starts. So he knew something, but not to this extent, I don't think. The boxes are for parties and business. Yes, I could just see those because I think you're too far away from the action. It said the Steelers fans were excited to see Shedeur play too. Yeah, they really wanted to see him. They really wanted to see him. It said your mama cleaning her glasses for 30 minutes. Facts. It said exactly. You don't know what went down with the Browns trade. It said TMZ posted this also. This is really going viral. People love their content. When Shiloh was impersonating Shedeur, I think all of the sports outlets posted it. And now they're posting it. They love them. This is the point, right? They're famous. They're famous. They're publicly available. They have visibility. But the NFL wants to shun it because they want that for the Mannings. They want people to gravitate towards the Mannings. You're not going to tell fans who to gravitate towards. You're not going to tell fans not to like Shedeur, but I want you to like Arch Manning. If they don't like him, they don't like him. I think he cool, but I ain't going to follow him around and look at him on nothing. I see him on a little Barbie Parker commercial. Cool. Right? Why they can't coexist? Why does it have to be snuff the Sanders out and only elevate the Mannings and this who you got to like? You get the hell out of here. You're not going to tell the media who to like, the fans who to like. You can tell the media what to do. You can tell your teams what to do, but you're not going to tell your fans what to do. That maybe the Browns, I don't know. That's a little different over there. But the rest of these fan bases, I don't even know of another fan base that's this complicit. I really don't. I know not the Saints. I don't think the Jacksonville, I don't think so because they want to get rid of Trevor. I don't know of another fan base that's like this. Definitely not the Falcons at all. I'm like, no. So not down here in the South. I don't know about the West Coast, maybe, but nope. It said Pierce, to my knowledge, he hasn't said anything about black ownership, black coaches, or black players giving part ownership. Now, I think Pierce is feeling some type of way because he got fired. I remember the conversation being, he said the players in the front office, the players were making business decisions. Like they weren't doing what was supposed to be done. It's like they try to get him fired. But see, here's the thing. Pierce is accused of getting Herm Edwards fired. Yeah. Pierce is supposed to be the reason that Jaden Daniels had to transfer from Arizona State to LSU. And he got in trouble. Well, his mama did. Yeah. That's supposed to be him. So he ends up jumping from ASU to the Raiders, and then the Raiders players turn on him. And now he over there turning on Shedeur. I'm like, oh, I see why they fired you. Okay. So karma is just chasing him down, and he want to blame everybody else but himself. So that's what I see from that situation. So maybe he trying to get a job, like when Stefanski get fired. It said we all look alike to them folks. Yes, it's sometimes that's true, and I don't know how that is, but some people do see it that way. Some people do see it that way. It's that he looked like Shadeur with shades and a beard. I say with the beard. Well, yeah, I mean, he kind of was walking like him a little bit. I was like, well, you know, because even the black guy thought from a distance, he saw the 12 jersey. I don't know if he could see the chain, but he saw the glasses, and he kind of thought it was, you know, Shedeur. So it was funny, though. It was funny. It was too funny. Shiloh is an entertainer for real. He is. But you know what? I think he would give up all the entertainment just to get back to the league. I hate it for him. It said didn't take Dylan out the game on a blowout, but took Shedeur out the last 2 minutes of the preseason game and put a QB in that didn't even make the roster. Right. So what does that tell you? That they are intentionally holding back Shedeur. So when people come up with all these fantasies and Shedeur going here and there, the other, I'm like, y'all overlooking one thing. Y'all overlooking that the owners took him off the board, and you overlooking the fact that no owner would allow Stefanski to treat their valuable QB this way without consent. What they did to Shedeur in the Rams game was ugly. After he won the Panthers game, and it was all designed to justify benching him and putting Dylan in front of him. That's how important it is for Shedeur to not be QB1. But now things are changing, right? Let's honestly talk about what's different. Cleveland now will have to pay $100 million to get the hell on. I'm sure they want to get their money back, right? I'm sure they got it, but they would like to replace it. Now, in London, the London game with the Browns versus the Vikings was the most watched overseas game, surprisingly, with Dylan, right? But then over here, you know, they get $250 million for TV deals each owner, right? So if I got to pay $100 million and I'm getting $600 million for this new stadium, I got all of this debt I got to incur. Plus, I'm part owner in the Bucks. I'm part owner in a soccer club. I don't want that $100 million back. Yeah, I can write it off, but I'm going to want it back. I can write it off, but I'm not going to get a refund for it, but I'm going to want it back. Then there's Stefanski. If they go into Miami and lose this game with Dylan and refuse to put Shedeur in, I don't know if Haslam going to be able to object. Right now, he's overruling firing Stefanski, even in the face of Tennessee firing Callahan. And everybody talked about that, right? Everybody talked about how the Tennessee could fire their 1-5 coach, but the Browns won't. I'm like, because they got something else going on over there. I'm like, because everybody not a special kind of food. They're not going to openly discriminate and go on the hook for racism. They just not going to do it. And people don't understand, but yeah, that's serious. Like, everybody's not doing that. That upends families. That upends businesses. It's expensive. Because if it was okay, Haslam would do it himself. So you're not going to find a whole lot of Stefanskis out there. Tommy Reese don't want to be Stefanski. He was the most transparent coach ever that I've seen of the Browns since we've been watching Shedeur over there. So he basically told them, I'm not going to go out there and do that. Because I got kids. I have a family. My people in the community. I'm not going to have these people hating on me like this. Tommy Reese probably want to get the hell out of Cleveland and probably wish he'd have got the job at UCLA. But I don't want nobody from the NFL going to colleges no more. I'm sorry. That's it. They just ruining it. I love what Colorado has with how the players are developing for the next level, but honestly, I wish they find something else to do. I'm just like an auntie that's going to a cousin that's just going to cheer for my cousins because this is what they want to do. I'm like, I don't like it for them, but if that's what they want to do, I guess I'm going to support you. But I wish they would find something else to do. So thank you, Zen. Yeah, I mean, the whole Rams game was ugly. It was intended to be ugly. Remember, Stefanski, we're gonna have to push Shedeur down, and then Shedeur gets sacked 5 times. Then he get taken out at the 2-minute drill. He was supposed to get frustrated like his brother, so they could kick them both out. Because they said after the Panthers game, they should have traded him. They didn't try it like 3 times. So if the owners ain't gonna get into it and start turning on each other, he just gonna be there. He just gonna be there. It said there was a JSU auntie. Yes, there was a JSU auntie. I thought that was nice. And one of the players who played for Mississippi Valley, remembered Shiloh from that. And Shiloh was like, you know, you got to graduate. I was like, it's pretty good. I wish he had gone to Jackson State homecoming. That would have been. Now you talk about some numbers on content, because their homecoming was good. That was a great game. That was a great game. They said they're not going to be able to diminish the Sanders at all. Right. You didn't build the Sanders. And maybe that's what they think, right? Maybe like the WNBA commissioner who stuck her foot in her mouth and said that, you know, the platform that they give to the athletes, they should be grateful for. Maybe that's how the NFL looks at it in terms of Coach Prime. But Coach Prime played baseball too, right? And maybe they feel like, you know, Coach Prime should have been grateful for the platform, and without the platform, Shedeur wouldn't be. And maybe that's what they think. Maybe they think the Sanders name wouldn't be what it is without the NFL. So they feel like if they, you know, kick them to the curb, then they'll destroy that. Maybe they think Coach Prime's years on the desk is why people like the Sanders. But you heard the young man in Shiloh's video. Man, your dad kept me going. Because if he can do all of that, and that's what the players said after this game. The old lineman said Coach Prime went to surgery for blood clots and came back to work. He said that motivated all of us. And I'm glad it did. That was God looking out for Coach Prime. Because believe me, they coming for him. What they did to James Franklin, what they did to Deshaun Foster, and what they did to the other black coaches already at CU, that's a message. 12 years, and that man went 0-3 this year. And that probably was set up. Also, they could take his job and give it to a white man. I mean, if I had, you know, if they upended 350,000 black women's jobs, if you see that all of these black people associated with the government are losing their jobs, then why the hell are you shocked this happening in the NFL and happening to black men? You should not be. That's next. It said LA Dodgers, welcome, welcome, welcome. It said the love for Coach Prime's overwhelmingly amongst players at every level. Now that's legendary, right? That's what people don't understand. Like the NFL don't understand that. It's like the NFL is looking at the platform that they gave him, and he should be grateful for it. But they invited him on their platform for the Super Bowl weekend, and that should tell you how extreme they're willing to be, so that they would lure Shedeur in with the whole celebrity football game to make him feel like they like me. I could go to Green Bay. Shedeur, Coach Prime, the same thing. And they stabbed them people in the back. And still doing it. And what they did to Shiloh was ugly. They didn't even penalize the other guy. They didn't even try to make it look like it was real. They didn't care. That's like what they did to Shedeur in the Rams game. They didn't care that they knew they was going to move Huntley out the way. That's probably why he don't want to come back. Anybody remember the Rams game? And people had already pointed out that Stefanski wasn't even talking to Shedeur. After Huntley played after Shedeur, I watched Stefanski give him like an attaboy or talk to him. And the next morning, before lunch, he was fired. So he realized he was used to take away. Why they didn't put Dylan in? Was he injured? Why they didn't put Dylan in to take away the 2-minute drill? Why did it have to be Huntley? Because he black. It's like they love pitting black people together. It's like it's a game to them, like it's a video game. Why you think they thought it was cute when Chris Carter was trashing Shedeur, and Warren Moon was like, well, you know, when you're a quarterback, you can't do this. And he said he didn't see the racism with Shedeur. I'm like, it's the same damn reason you went to Canada. They love it. It's like, it's a thrill. That's why Andrew Berry is the GM. Till one of the Mannies come on. Then he not going to be useful no more. Maybe because they already got their stadium and they don't have to do no more favors. Maybe they made it to the part where when they decided to buy the team, maybe, you know, buying it in Cleveland wasn't where I wanted it, but since I'm buying into the league, I got to go along with this. And it's like maybe they initiation. Is you got to do whatever we tell you to do and take these players that we want to get rid of. And he like, cool. Then I get to move to a place that's like Knoxville, 75% white. Yeah. And then when they took Shedeur, he got it. I think it was already in the talks, but I guess it became finalized after that. And paying $100 million out to city because that wasn't supposed to happen like that. But it made all the lawsuits go away. You talking about Miss Pilar? Yeah, no, her and Coach Prime, it's okay. It's okay. I wouldn't even ask that. When he said, I'm gonna have to ask Dad, I'm like, why? Did you not pick up on the contact cue from your mama? No, it ain't happening. Don't ask your daddy that. Just move on. Just move on. That is so hilarious. It said they want their parents back together. I think so too. I don't know about Shiloh, but Shedeur, I think that's Shedeur issue with the whole new relationship. I think he does. I don't know what Shiloh really think. I know Shiloh is hilarious though. Shiloh is that kid. Like if you got 5 kids, like he that one kid. I always say if you got more than 2 kids, one of them, it's gonna be a little different. That's gonna be like sit down right here while everybody else go play because you're in trouble. That's Shiloh. I remember I watched that show once or twice, and Shiloh every time was into some kind of mischief. Some kind of mischief. It said they will get back to it. I heard her say she would do it if it was for Shedeur because think about it. They hung out. Well, they ain't hang out. But she was at the house for the draft. So it's Shedeur's reaction for me. He's like a little kid. So yeah, I think you might be right. He might want his parents to kind of work it out. Dion said he prayed about it and agreed to let her come to the draft party. Right. And it seemed like it was fine. So for her to have that reaction now, I don't know. It's just bad blood between them. It said now that made me raise the eyebrow. Did the Browns hire who? Did the Browns hire who, Amber? Who are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about the girl with the lanyard? Talking about she got to make sure she do. I don't know. That was crazy. That was kind of crazy. I don't know why they have somebody following Shedeur around like that. And if you saw the look on his face, I don't think he really cared for that very much. It said, I just found out Carucci was at the main night draft party. Was she? They said Miss Pilar was there. Carucci was there. They said Miss Tracy was there. I didn't know. I didn't see any of that. I didn't see any of that. It's the people thinking Shiloh was Shedeur for me. I guess we all look the same. I mean, honestly, he did look like Shedeur with the beard and the glasses. I mean, they are brothers. They do have some lineage, you know, but we rarely see Shiloh with facial hair. I don't think we normally see him with facial hair. I strongly feel if the CFL brought in 3 teams with Black ownership, it would give the NFL a run for viewer ratings. I don't know. I don't think that's the answer. I don't think the CFL is the answer. I think the answer is for Coach Prime, for the Sanders family, whether it's Coach Prime or not, maybe Shedeur. I think that's the move. I think the move is for the Sanders family to start their own football league because football is the family business. And Shiloh's not on a team, so he could lead it, right? And Bucky obviously could stream it, and so could Darius and a whole host of a lot of other people. They can do this. They just still seem to be in the mindset of just waiting for the NFL. You know, I didn't grow up with it, so I don't know. You know, I don't know. And even the way they talk about, you know, like Boog was like Coach Steph. I'm like, and then, you know, you had Shiloh, Coach Stefanski. Now, I see me, I'm just a little different. I guess I wouldn't even be, you know, talking about him at all. but I'm different. They still want that dream to be fulfilled, and so maybe they feel like if they keep showing Stefanski love, maybe it'll work. Maybe God will change his heart. I don't know, because that's what it's gonna take. That's what it's gonna take, and it could happen. It could happen. So, what about the rumors that Haslam ordered Stefanski to start Shedeur? Is that true? I doubt it. I doubt it very, very seriously. Why would Haslam order Stefanski to start Shedeur all of a sudden? Oh, because it's week 7. And Flacco was supposed to be around for the first 7 games, 6 games. I don't know. But I have already said I believe that we're going to Shedeur in the Miami game. I'm not saying he's going to start. He might. But I feel like in addition to I got $100 million to get back, Stefanski, his job might be safe because they're not trying to get rid of him now. Even the radio people are like getting rid of him next year, which I told you they was gonna get rid of him. They should be asking for him to go now, but the fact they're trying to delay it till next year tells you there's already a plan. I don't know how long Stefanski's contract was for, but he will get every dime because they're not trying to hurt him. Basically, they still protected Stefanski by saying fire him next year, and they can't come up with no people to replace him with, which is ridiculous. And to me, it seems that the pressure is real. If they go into Miami and lose, you know what they're calling it? They're calling the Miami Browns game the who's going to get fired first bowl. In other words, between Miami's coach and Stefanski, they both should be on their way out. That's what they're saying. They say whoever loses this game must be fired immediately after the game. I have no idea who's going to win this game. Did y'all see how happy Tyreek Hill was when he got on the cart after his knee was backwards? I was like, is he excited he ain't got to play no more? That's what people say. So it must be that bad on the ground. So I believe that the Browns going to have to save face. And I think it was always a plan for Flacco to be the first 7 games, Dylan to come in, and Shedeur get in there towards the end. They might have to change that a little bit and start Dylan. And if it gets bad, now, if it's early in the week, what's today? It's midnight now, so it's Wednesday. Now, they could activate Bailey Zapp and you not know until the media tell you. Because they activated Huntley and nobody ever talked about it. Huntley was on a practice squad. I checked the roster before last week's game, but then he played in the game. So they over there trying to figure out what to do so they don't, have too much pressure on them. Because the media can say what the hell they want to say. It's how their fans truly feel. They know their fans are loyal, but there is some type of dissent, right? And I think if Miami win this game, and it looked like it did in the last game, it's going to be hell to pay. So I think Shedeur, I think he's going to have to get in. That's what I think, unless they're going to activate Huntley Bailey or whatever, Zapp or whatever the hell his name is. Don't be surprised, but I feel like this is the game. And I think because they backs against the wall, it can't go down as bad as it did. Miami is also bad. And everybody's watching this game to see who lose because one of the coaches should be fired. So Stefanski, while his job is seemingly safe behind the scenes, he needs the media to stay off of his back. If you notice, they protected him. It's Barry's fault. It's Myles Garrett is not a leader. Jerry Jeudy can't catch. Are they going to do that again if Miami loses? Even Mary Cabot was at one point saying last week, Stefanski's job is safe because, you can't expect much if he don't know who his quarterback is. And that's when I'm like, Dylan, you crazy because they saying you ain't good either. We know Shedeur good, but they basically saying they came and got you to dispose of you like a old disposable camera. That's what it is. So I think there's some pressure there, and they probably going to tell Stefanski, look, just go with Dylan as long as you can and just push Shedeur out there to win the game. That's what I think is going to happen. We'll see. I could be wrong. It said the Browns are protecting him from that Man Reporter. Which one? Oh, this is the one I wanted y'all to hear too. Check this out. This is the guy that basically said what I said to y'all yesterday. But oh, and Shedeur was at a car dealership filming a commercial. I finally realized how the media got there because it was in conjunction with a media, like a news station. So he was giving away a car. Okay, let's see. I'm going to share my screen so y'all can hear what this man. Now, I said this yesterday, and no, I don't believe that they saw my channel. This is some Cleveland people. And but listen to what he said. He echoes basically what I said. And this signals that the fans are finally starting to realize that the Browns are playing in their face and they were never serious about winning at all. And they're not serious about winning right now. So check this out. Okay, let's see if y'all can see my screen. All right. Some of y'all might watch this show, Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. I think that's the name of it. All right, y'all might watch this show. All right, so here we go.
Jimmy Haslam is laughing at all of us, folks.
Yeah, we're
He's
the idiots.
laughing at all of us.
We're the idiots.
We're the idiots. We keep going back. Fans keep spending money on jerseys, on tickets. Jason has said how many times? This is all about 29. That's 4 freaking years from now. They don't care. They put out this garbage offensive product. Congratulations, the Titans. Congratulations to the Titans. They should be very proud of themselves. They passed the Browns into 31st place yesterday in points per game. And by the way, they only needed to score 10 to get there, or whatever the hell they scored. The Browns are dead last in points per game. It is the worst offense, one of the worst offenses I've ever seen in my life. From top to bottom, coaching staff, talent, execution, all of it. It's horrible. It's disgraceful. And Jimmy Haslam is laughing. He and their family do not give a rat's you-know-what about any of us and any of you. They don't care. They just want to keep taking your money because they know that no matter how bad a product they stick you with, you're going to keep coming back. And that's a darn shame how the Haslams and this organization has treated this fan base. It's a disgrace.
Nah,
Jimmy Haslam is laughing.
He right about that. They're exploiting their own fan base. And what did I say yesterday? I said the Browns organization is laughing out loud in your face and counting your money behind your back. They had no intentions of winning. They don't care about winning. He thinks they're trying to get. It's all about 2029. It's about the 2026 getting a white quarterback out the draft. See, they can't say that part out loud. They can't say, oh, we want to get a white quarterback out the draft. And we don't just want any white quarterback because Carson Beck right now is the #1 quarterback coming out of college, and rightfully so. I think they might still be undefeated or maybe lost 1 game, but he's at the top. Do you hear anybody talking about Carson Beck going to Cleveland #1 overall? No, it seems it's the Manning kid or bust. And talking about getting rid of Barry is pulling in the Mannings this year. So whether the Manning kid wants to make the decision to stay at UT, if he has that decision, he'll be there in 2027. He's right. They don't give a damn about none of them. They just exploiting them for their money. And like he said, they just keep showing up. At what point does it become obvious to you that they're not trying to win? Like, this is ridiculous. It's so insane to me that y'all don't know y'all being played in your face. If they wanted to win, they would have gave Shedeur his goddamn #2 number and had him out there on day 1. The fact that Shedeur couldn't even get his number, but they gave him Travis' number and gave Travis Shedeur number meant they wanted to hurt Shedeur, and y'all sitting there paying for it. You're paying for it. Why they try to rob this kid of his career like they have done to so many others before him. And Baker Mayfield and Flacco are only 2 to make it out of there alive with their careers intact. And it's true. Flacco have scored more points than he did with the Browns this season. Stop showing up. Even the church is talking about Browns fans. Do y'all really not have nothing else to do on Sundays? That's how bad it is. And y'all keep running up there. For what? Maybe if you stayed home, they'd do right. But they just exploiting you for money to enrich themselves. While they laugh behind your back, they don't give a damn about you. I don't care if you white or not. Are you rich? Are you wealthy? Are you in their circle? Would they give you $1 if you needed it? No. No. So the message from yesterday is making its way. That's my point of showing this. So now you see they are starting to realize y'all being played, bro. You was being played all summer long. Well, Dylan might be better than Shedeur. Okay, then you can't see. Comparing Shedeur's 4 years to Dylan's 6 in yards was so ridiculous. Because that's exactly what they did in the summer. Dylan had more yards than Shedeur. Really? We weren't going to address that. What was the point of addressing that? Shedeur's one game was better than all the damn games Dylan have played for the Browns since he's been with the organization. Shedeur won the contest 3 times fair and square. He was set up to fail so y'all could get Dylan. And y'all not even asking for Shedeur. Some of y'all are, but too many of y'all will get the Great White Hope next year. How you know that's going to work out? Because if it's the Manning kid, you see what that is right now. And they say the defense beat Oklahoma. I ain't convinced that nobody from UT beat Oklahoma. I believe the some routing numbers and some wide transfers beat Oklahoma. That's what the hell I think. I don't have no problem with saying it. But we're going to see how UT does the rest of the way. Because one thing about it, they got to keep playing ball to the end of the season. And if it's raggedy like it was before, then I'm right. And it's not far-fetched. Because if the Browns have been accused of paying a head coach who's black to lose games, then why the hell not pay somebody at Oklahoma over there to make sure it don't go right? These people all know each other. In one way, shape, or form, 2 degrees of separation, they all know each other. They all have the same vested interests. So you can't put nothing past the Browns. But yes, the Browns fan base is being exploited. For their loyalty is being exploited. They can't even do this without y'all. I've never seen anything like this myself. It's just like y'all part of a cult and you don't want to admit it. So you didn't drink the Kool-Aid. Well, we're going to see what happened after you drink the Kool-Aid. And these tickets not cheap. These jerseys are not cheap. And y'all out here probably on Klarna and everything else trying to pay for this. For what? It said the Jets want to trade for Shedeur. I keep hearing it, but I looked it up and it didn't seem to be true. But maybe by tomorrow morning, it'll be true. It said they also say that other teams have tried. I don't know. I don't know why didn't it work? Oh, why didn't it work? Because you see Flacco gone, right? All right, then. And you see they traded Flacco with a 6th-round pick, which meant they didn't value him. But he ran over there and became a starter. So if other teams wanted to trade for Shedeur just like they got Flacco, they got Shedeur. And it wouldn't surprise me if there was a conversation behind the scenes and the Bengals initiated the trade and it went smoothly. And to be honest with you, it probably wasn't nothing the Browns could do anything about. So it can be done. Denzel Washington definitely has. What's that? Coach Prime's back. It said Haslam do not get a damn pass. Right. At all. The NFL don't get a pass and Haslam definitely don't get a pass. It said Ramsey and Shedeur knows Shedeur very well. He gave up another. What's that? He gave up another what, Sarah? It says Stefanski loved the fact that the teams are clamoring for Shedeur on their team and they're shooting him down. Right. Because he's taking pleasure in controlling what Shedeur does. That's what Stefanski, that's his thing. That's his thing. It said now Dart is good. Yeah, okay. Again, a lot of football. It said Ramsey grew up around Prime and Shiloh and Shedeur. It wasn't like he was waiting for Shedeur. It was the other way around. What do you mean by that? Yeah, what do you mean by that? There are 252 or 62 of us. Hit the like button, please. All right, so we get ready to get out of here in about the next 5 minutes. Good night, everybody. Good night, anime. It says Stefanski has a proximity to yeah, because he's white, isn't it? Is Stefanski white? Good night. It says Haslam was like, we don't have to pay him. Right. So on that note, before we get out of here. Okay, so I always said there would be a break after the 7 weeks. Everybody said it from the beginning. Flacco take the first 7. Nobody ever said it would be Pickett. It was always Flacco take the first 7. Shedeur get the last back half. Nobody ever said Dylan. It was always Flacco and Shedeur. And I believe Flacco probably wanted out. Whether it was retaliation, but whether it's somewhere in his mind, he wanted out and the Bengals made it happen for him to be the starter. How could you possibly say, based on what happened over here, he could go be the starter over there with a 6-round trade? No, that don't work like that. So something happened there. He got out just like Baker Mayfield got out. But Shedeur can't get out. But this is the break, the 7th week, the first easy game, so to speak. People expect it to be Dylan all the way versus Miami. I don't know who the underdog is. Maybe somebody could look it up. But it really was Flacco the first 7, Shedeur the rest of the way. And I said, if they do that, then that means they got him for that deep discount and they're going to exploit him and put him out there to win $1,000 for $4 million or for $1 million this year, $970,000 this year, right? And that's what that is, exploitation. So you already see they're exploiting their fans. You already see they're exploiting their players. We already know that. But this is how they can get the best return on value for Shedeur, because what did Barry say? Shedeur is going to outproduce his draft stock. I have said it. And when is that going to be? So maybe they put Dylan out there knowing he will bomb out so they can have a justification for switching to Shedeur. You know what I mean? It was always planned to be this way. Just like the Rams game. We're going to have to push Shedeur down. And they did. They had him sacked 6 times. They let him look bad. They let Dylan look bad last week. They let him throw the ball 52 times. So if they go to Dylan right now and say, look, it's not my call. I got to go ahead on it. You know, I wish I could keep you in, Dylan, but, you know, Haslam is like, I gotta, you know, do the betterment of the team, and I got to push Shedeur in because, you know, he got to show what he could do too. It could all be a lie, but, you know, that's what they're going to tell him because they let him look crazy last week. They let him look absolutely crazy to the point where people want Stefanski get fired and Dylan the hell gone somewhere. Nobody believes in Dylan. They're like, at best, he's a good backup. I don't even see that because he can't see. But, you know, if that's the most you could be, then you shouldn't be in front of the guy they were going to draft as their franchise QB. And they will be getting ready to pull off the biggest heist because Shedeur was a $46 million quarterback that they got for $4 million. And they're going to put out there to win and go 8-2. What does it prove? It proves they always knew he was good and could get it done. And they were just trying to humiliate him. They were just openly discriminating against him until they were ready to exploit him. All right. And Dylan was just a pawn all the way through. But we're going to see. We're going to see. Like I said, they calling it the who gonna get fired first bowl. So I'll let y'all know what happened, but we get ready to sign off for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow at 10:35 p.m. with Shedeur Watch to see if they're going to activate Bailey's app. We should hear something. I'm interested to learn if Shedeur is getting first team reps. So I'll probably check into their media tomorrow to see if I can find that out. Because that's important, right? Shedeur should be getting first team reps if we're getting him ready. And I heard there's supposed to be some kind of change coming so things can go better going forward. And I think Shedeur might have something to do with that. So stay tuned, guys. I'll see y'all tomorrow, 10:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Have a good night, everybody. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way out and subscribe to get us to 5,500 subscribers. Thank you. And there's a new video dropped on Patreon, so go check it out. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.